Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever everyone is right now. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Life Coaching Access, your daily access with professional certified life coaches brought to you by the Life Coach Philippines. Life Coach Philippines is our community of professional certified life coaches certified by the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs, a bona fide institute for mental health that is based in Dallas, Texas, USA. Life Coaching Access is our service to the community, and we aim to help individuals experience the process of transformation through the platform of life coaching. If you want to know more about our international coaching classes and services, please connect with Coach Roselle through 0917 586 1661 for assistance. By the way, I'm Coach Tony for En Road to Forgiveness. Moving on begins with a mind shift. Your access to me is every Sunday at 2 p.m. For my segment today, I'll be sharing you episode 4, accountability. Please tag your friends in the comments section below and invite them to join our conversation. You may also share this FB Live to your timeline and FB groups and pages so that we can reach more people and help transform lives. Alrighty then. So, for today's topic, as mentioned earlier, we shall talk about accountability. But first, as per usual with my spiel, I would also like to also announce that we're getting close to our first class of the mental health certification program. So if you are interested, we would also like to invite you to this certification program that's for 3 days, December's 5, 6, and 12. Uh, and if for more information regarding this, please contact Coach Roselle at 0917 586 1661 or go to the website at www.globalcoachentrepreneur.org. All right. So I'd like to begin by saying hi. Once again, I'm Coach Tony, and my specialty with regards to coaching would be for people my age or younger. So the are people who consider themselves millennials or younger people. And I'm a relationship coach. As a life coach, I don't give advice, and I'm also not a guru. So let's do a short recap for the first three things that we discussed previously. So we've learned that through accepting ourselves and through vulnerability, we can be more open to accept and learn things that we need to go through or we need to learn. In discovering ourselves, we learn the different paths to take in order to self discover. And lastly, through goals, we find out how we establish short-term and long-term goals as well as smart goals. How we can meld all these and how we can meld all these three topics together now is through accountability. But first, I'd like to ask a very simple question. How many friends do you rely on? Or how many people rely on you? We've had, especially in this time of COVID, it's really important for us to, well, to get to see how our friends are going, how they are doing right now, how are we, um, how are they? Are they experiencing any problems, any issues, anything that is bothering them in any way, shape, or form? So friends helps us our we help see how they are doing, and that's related to accountability. We try to be accountable for our friends' actions. We try to see how our family is, and so we try to be accountable for them. But at the same time, we try to be accountable for our own lives, and that is our responsibility. Sometimes we have to be responsible for our own lives. Sometimes we have to be responsible with everyone else's lives. At the end of the day, to live life to the best of our own abilities, to live our own best life is our own responsibility. And we have to find, and for today, I'll be sharing you two ways on how to be accountable with your own lives or how to be accountable with your own actions, or anything really. The first way I can show you guys is self accountability. And the second way is to find an accountability partner. So before I move on, being accountable to one's own actions, being accountable to how we say things, being accountable to how we progress or how we want to forgive others or forgive ourselves. It's really important to see how much we can, how much lives we can change, or how much we can change our own selves. That's why I first discussed the three things: accountability, goals. That's why we talk about goals rather. We get to see how we can move forward from here. That's why we talk about self-discovery, how we can internally see what we are on the inside, and how we can accept that we have to be vulnerable in our own certain ways to move forward. Hey, hi, Coach Candy. Hi, Master Coach Jasmine. Thank you for joining me today. All right. So the first thing I'd like to show you guys is how to be accountable with yourselves, or how to be self-accountable, or how to do things, how to be accountable in the way you do things, the way you act, or anything really. The first step in everything is write down your own goals. It goes back to our own goal setting, how how we must do things our own little way. How can we go where we need to go? Sometimes it's best to write down the goals that you want to set for yourself. Sometimes it's good to have things in your to set things in your mind, but for future reference, if you didn't accomplish what you needed to accomplish, sometimes it's best to write it down, to give it concrete form, to give it something, to give it life onto itself. The second step after writing down your own personal goals is identify your personal statement. In different organizations, this refers to an organization's mission and vision. How can they, based on their own mission and vision, how can they move forward with their business? How this translates to our very own accountability, or our own goals rather, is how can we do the things that we need to do? How can we move forward without, or how can we move to where we need to go without shaking our own personal mission and vision in life? Our own personal goals, really. How can we not, um, how can we not change as much as we, or change in a negative sense? How to move forward from here, or from A to B. Give me one second. Sorry, it's raining in my area, so I'll be moving out from time to time. But yes, so our own personal statements, we have to figure out who we are really as a person. All right. Next is create short-term goals. So what I mean by this is, remember, in our previous episode with goals, we have a long-term goal. And within that long-term goal, we have our own separate personal short-term goals. Maybe, for example, going to the groceries from your house. That could be a long-term goal. And how do we get there? By preparing the list of things we need to buy. That's one short-term goal. By preparing the money that we need to use to in order to buy our groceries. That's another short-term goal. By getting to where we need to go, basically driving around or walking or anything, that's another short-term goal. And buying the thing that you need to buy. So that's four short-term goals for a long-term goal. You can translate that to You can translate that to your other long-term goals. For example, me as a certified life coach, it took me a while to get where I needed to go. And from personal experiences, I had to work in different jobs and save enough money so that I can fulfill the dream that I want to have, which is hopefully help you guys. And through short-term goals, through long-term goal, through my long-term goal basically was to be a life coach. But a short-term goal within that long-term goal was to get a job. But that short-term goal, the short-term goal for that goal specifically is passing an interview. So it's not as clear and dry cut as as you would think. Sometimes you just gotta find those short-term goals really for that long-term goal. But that's just as an example. But use that as an example. Sorry. I'm just using this as an example. Next, reward your own accomplishments. Now, it's good to reward yourself after finding out that hey, I've accomplished what I need to do, and that's a good thing. Even the short-term goals, you have to reward yourself for that. You have to be able to uh, reward yourself because you did well this going so far, or making it this far. Um, a good example would be making it through your sweldo or your salary. You worked hard. You worked hard for the career that you want, and using your own salary, sometimes it's good to treat yourself or treat your friends or anything. Having that reward system in you will help you progress forward. But do not always use that reward system as an excuse to delay your own personal goals. From personal experience, also, I suffer from this as well. Uh, I sometimes become a little bit. I end up procrastinating a little bit, and I sometimes end up being uh, having that manana habit that to excuse my Filipino, parang gagawin ko naman yun bukas, to push those things that I want to do tomorrow instead of doing it today. So use reward systems as a good stopping point for some things, but don't do it always. Maybe when you've accomplished your long-term goal, then you can reward yourself with with one thing with knowing that you've accomplished that long-term goal. To me, that was life coaching. It took me what 3 years to become a life coach, but here I am. So I'm reaping the rewards and the benefits of it. So yeah, all right. The next step would be review what you've accomplished. So you've rewarded yourself. That's great. Now you gotta look through your short-term goals and see what what have I accomplished thus far. If you recall our last episode with short-term goals, it can span from as little as a few hours to a few days to a few weeks, but it shouldn't exceed 12 months. So with that, you got to see how long have you accomplished this certain goal, this certain long-term goal, and how much do you need how much more do you need to finish those short-term goals. Yes, Coach Candy. You gotta find those small wins uh, in order to in order to see also your big ones as well. And last, find time for personal introspection. So you've seen your own short term, you've laid down your long term goal or your long term goals, and now you gotta and now you've listened down your short term goals. You've accomplished some of your short term goals, and you rewarded yourself for accomplishing those short-term goals, and you gotta find that time to see how much can you can you go, or can you continue this journey? Um, the journey of finding that, of completing that long-term goal, rather. Sometimes sometimes we set our goals too high, that we see that we need to we need to take more time, more resources, more time devoted for yourself that could have been used for family time, some personal sacrifices that you need to make, and that can sometimes make you depressed, or can give you strength. You gotta take time to see what you need to do, or what you need to accomplish, or what is that one thing, or that one particular goal that you are having trouble with, or that difficult thing that you're experiencing. So, just to recap, so going back to number one, oops. So, one, to write down goals. Two, identify your own personal statement. Three, create short-term goals. Four, reward your own accomplishments. Five, review what you've accomplished. And six, personal introspection. Now, let's move on to the second way. So the first way is basically having your own being self-accountable to your own actions and whatnot. The second way is finding that accountability partner. Having someone to look out for you in times of trouble, or someone to help you through where you need to go, or someone to give you that strength in your journey, or your long-term goal. Sometimes we can't do it ourselves. As much as we don't want to admit that we can do things on our own, we have to find that other person that can help us. That can be your friend, your excuse me, right, right. That can be your friend. That can be your uh, father. That can be your mother, your parents, or your close family friend. Sometimes even your romantic partner, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or a trusted friend, even. We have to find that person that we trust, we have faith in, or we draw strength from, in order to be accountable for our own actions, to see how we can progress. And sometimes we have our own blind spots, as I mentioned in our first episode. Uh, and these people can help progress to where we need to progress, even though we think that we are progressing. Um, a personal example of mine would be, um, as I was graduating college, I had a choice um, between taking my master's degree or finding a job. And my original plan was to take up a master's degree and move straight towards clinical psychology, because at the time that's what I wanted to do. But I asked different people from my different friend groups, and a lot of my mentors and my confidants at the time, and friends who are actually working at the now, even now, sorry. And what most of them told me was, um, that I work first instead of taking a master's degree. In Well, in their opinion, they would appreciate the master's degree more once they start working, as compared to a master's degree then work. So to me, I said, okay. Um, I had to think about it for probably a few weeks or a few days. But then I came to the conclusion that, yeah, I want to work first. so that I can get my master's degree later. Because now I shifted my focus from clinical psychology to life coaching, and yeah, without those people, I wouldn't be here where I needed to be, or I wouldn't be here actually. So I'd like to extend my personal thank you to the people that helped me get here. All right, so moving back to the accountability partner, I'd like to share, I believe these are 4 tips or 5 tips that I would like to share with you when looking for an accountability partner. First, we gotta know what we need to do. I'd like to refer to the first part or the first way, which is the 6 steps in our own personal accountability or our own self accountability. So, knowing what we need to do, knowing where we need to go, how to get there, that's the first step. The second step would be finding our personal priorities. When you establish with your accountability part, you need to establish with your accountability partner what needs to be set based on your core values or your own personal beliefs. And given these personal beliefs, you base around your priorities around them. So if you value your family, you have to sometimes sacrifice what needs to be done for them. So your accountability partner helps you set your priorities straight. How you must do things, how you must go about things, really. Third, find a way to track your progress. This can be done through a planner, setting up on a calendar, or have your accountability partner check up on you from time to time. Fourth, know your own goal activities. What I mean by this is know what you need to do, know what needs to be done based on your own personal goals. Um, let's say, for example, this year we weren't able to do what we need to do. So let's say we wanted to travel to another country or travel to another part of the country or anywhere else really. But because of COVID, we weren't able to travel. So sometimes you gotta shift gears sometimes. You gotta know what you need to do. You got to know that, hey, I can this money that I use to save for traveling, maybe I can use this for my own personal growth or help with the bills, or help pay the bills rather, or use that money to uh, do for something else, basically. And once you know all of these, it's time to choose your accountability partner wisely. You can't have everyone become your accountability partner because you need to find that one person or two um, that you can trust wholeheartedly, that can set you straight. Sometimes these people can hurt you in ways that you may think that is negative for you. They may say some things that can be mean, but it helps you really. It goes so as I mentioned previously about our own blind spots. We don't see our own blind spots, but others do. And having that one person see that blind spot for you and be completely honest with you helps you grow. So when you find that right person, you're able to grow as well. Maybe also this can apply to your own family members. Maybe this can also apply to your own partners in life. But yeah, um, it ends up making our lives a little easier and how we navigate this really difficult path that we choose. And it's not a clear cut, there's no clear cut, dry finish line to our own personal goals, or there is no clear and cut way to move forward where we need, or to go where we need to go. And sometimes the right accountability partner isn't there isn't there yet, or isn't who we know right now. Maybe it's someone we meet later down in the future. Where you are in this current journey, it depends on what you need as of the moment. Do you need someone who can just listen to you? Do you need someone who can just be there when you need them to be? Do you need someone who can guide you where you need to go, even if it hurts? That's why you have to choose your partner wisely, your accountability partner wisely. Finding that right person can help set you straight. So those are the two ways. It really depends on how much you think you can go through it, or go through your own personal long-term goal. Um, Sometimes some goals are easier than others. So, for example, you need to you need to set up a fund for yourself. So, an accountability partner can be, for example, a financial advisor. Sometimes for 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 a for someone who's experiencing mental troubles, an accountability partner for them um, would be a therapist. Sometimes your friends can also be your accountability partner. So it really depends on where you need to go. And with forgiving yourself, it comes in two different ways. You can either introspect and learn to forgive yourself, or have that accountability partner to help you not necessarily ease the blow, but find that um, find that navigational, or that find that direction on where you need to go. Sometimes it'll hurt, but it is what it is, and that's growth. That's life, and well, that's how life is. It's really mysterious in that way, and sometimes you never know what will happen. All right. So with that, we end today's episode. Let me invite you to visit our coaching hub at D Cup Coffee Republic, located at Pioneer Center compound along Pioneer Road, corner Brixton and United Streets, Capitolio, Pasig City. It's just around the corner in Bayanihan Center. Our coaching hub is open physically at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. only, but virtual operations is 24/7, and we offer coaching services on demand any time of the day, any day of the week as well. Please connect with Coach Roselle through 0917-586-1661 for your coaching needs. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week, same time, same day. Love, bum, boom. Thank you.